So we are here in this lovely park. I just put together my very first quadcopter and I'm about to fly it for the first time. I'm here with Parallax's two ELEV-8 flying experts, Nick and Kevin. So, Maverick, Goose, what should I be doing?
One of the first things you want to do, make sure all your propellers are going in the right direction. So you've got counter-rotating props on the top left and lower right, and then clockwise rotating props on the top right and lower left. So from the diagram and the instructions, you guys know that which way they're supposed to be spinning. You know, they're supposed to be left, right, and the same thing, right and left. So you want to make sure those guys are spinning up in the right direction. You also want to make sure that when you installed your receiver, so this just happens to be a Spectrum, and it's got the satellite antenna here on the bottom. So it's got the wire antennas coming out. On the top, we have them going horizontal along the x-axis here. And then on the back, on the satellite, we have them out on the bottom, going vertical on the y-axis. So you want them to be perpendicular, the antennas. That's to optimize your reception. And then, aside from having your battery strapped down, Kevin's going to tell you some good flight techniques to get going.
And what we normally recommend starting out, when you start those movements, it'll be just a small hop, kind of a leapfrog effect out in the grass, just to get your feel for the throttle and the de-throttling. And then once you get a little bit better, you'll start to be able to maintain certain altitudes and stuff like that. So you just got to take it real easy when you start now.
All right,
Yeah.
Sounds good. So let's give this a go, shall we? All right, so we're about to power up the ELEV-8 for the first time. So we're gonna make sure the controller's on, throttle's all the way down, and now we're ready to connect our battery. So now we're ready to fly the quadcopter, or I'm ready to fly the quadcopter. So I'm standing a good distance away from it, and my position is relative, meaning that the front of the quadcopter is my front, the right is my right, and the left is my left. So we're ready to arm it. Right now the LED should be flashing, meaning that it's not armed. In order to arm it, on your controller with the throttle, go left, right, center. The LED should be solid, and we're ready to fly.
All right, just a few reminders before you guys get ready to fly for the first time. On your first flight, like Jessica was saying, you want to orient yourself. You just want to hop around. Don't jump it up into the air, 6 feet above you. The first time you fly, you'll get disoriented looking up or looking to the side at something that's flying. Just keep it right in front of you. Keep it low. Low is safe. Just remember that, low is safe. And then when you're flying for the first time, whatever you do, a lot of people relate these controls to like playing Xbox or something like that. So whatever you do, don't bring it back at you. If you're gonna move in any unwanted direction, or if it starts to get out of control, just bring the throttle down, just cut it. From 10, 15 feet, no damage is gonna be done. It'll just bounce off the grass. So if it's starting to go in an unwanted direction, cut the throttle. And when you're first flying, only go on your direction stick forward, left, and right. Never bring it back at you, because bringing the craft at you is it's unsafe anytime. So make sure that you guys don't do that on your first flight.
So here's hoping I don't crash. Okay, so we flew it and it flipped. And this is actually a very common first-time beginner mistake. In my case, I had 2 of the ESCs swapped, so make sure you double check that when you put your quad together. But there's also some other things that can go wrong, right, Kev?
Yeah, absolutely. Not only the ESCs being kind of in the wrong position, you can also end up with your radio connected in the wrong ports as well. Or if they're not in the right port, they could also be reversed polarity-wise, so you got to make sure that your data line is on the correct side when you're plugging it in. So there's 2 things to look for: which way the plug's plugged and which port it's plugged into. So those are the important things to look out for when you're building these, and it'll definitely cause some problems like you saw.
Yep. So double and triple check your connections. Always a good idea. So let's go for round 2.
All right.
I've decided I'm done flying. So what's the best safe shutdown procedure?
So the first thing you're going to do, just out of habit, you want to get into this, is just disarm as soon as you're done landing and you disarm it. And then the green light will start blinking to indicate disarm. And then you want to first power off by unplugging the battery off the quad. And then you'll power off your radio. Well, yeah, you did really good out there, and as you get better, you'll be in a position that you'll be able to learn to keep it level or keep it at a particular altitude that you want, that you're controlling. And then you'll practice, once you're there, you'll practice keeping it within a smaller box or a 3x3 box area, so you can just kind of like rotate around in a box. And once you're comfortable rotating around in a box, a smaller area, at a fairly, you want about 6 feet off the ground. Once you're there, you'll be able to do a lot more and kind of like work your way further out, more to the side, not a little bit higher up, because you'll get disoriented if you try all that right off the bat. You want to be able to just keep your hops, and then once you get your level, then you'll be able to play around a little bit more.
Sounds good. Okay, so I obviously need a lot more practice, so I'm going to get to that. Thanks to Nick and Kevin for their help today. Good luck to you as a first-time flyer, and fly safe.